This video is brought to you by BizWire TV, where your news is made.
Rob, you're one of the first holders of the Investor Relations Charter. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about this certification?
Sure thing, Tim. So it's a charter that was put in place by NIRI after a ton of effort and work to set up a certification board and body who then created the test and a number of different different components of what it takes to be a professional investor relations professional. And so there's components of it that are financial in nature and marketing in nature, and a whole number of components that the investor relation profession incorporates. And there was a test in March that I took in order to become a charter holder. And it was, they recommended about 100 hours of study.
Okay.
And I took it in March, I think the last week of March, and it's a 4-hour time period that you have to take the test in a quite formal environment. And I found out only about a month ago that I had passed, and I am an inaugural member of the IRC.
And did you find that was about right? Did it take about 100 hours of study?
Well, so what was one of the biggest challenges, I would say, for the exam was that there wasn't practice tests. And so because it's still relatively early in its development, there was a lot of recommended areas to do research and webinars to listen to and various things to look at. And there was study materials. There was a very helpful book that went through the 10 or 11 segments that they wanted you to focus on. But I always like to practice my knowledge by taking practice tests, and it's a good way to see where you stand. And those are not yet developed. So I thought that the book was very helpful. But I think for many IRC holders or people who want to pursue it, there's no substitute for learning on the job. So some of the questions I maybe didn't prepare via a webinar or via the materials, but through real life examples. So whether it's stakeholder activism, whether it is engagement on the proxy, or a whole number of outreach to shareholders, targeting of shareholders, managing consensus in the sell side. Some of these things you can certainly prepare for by study, but others you can prepare for by doing. And so it was a good, I was able to succeed, I think, partially because in my years of doing investor relations, I've come across a whole host of these sorts of topics in the wild as opposed to in a book.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more question, for you personally, why did you decide to take the IRC? How did you feel it was going to benefit you?
Sure, and I get that question quite a bit. And so, first of all, I think it's really exciting that they're setting a standard for investor relations. And so I thought it would be very additive for not only me, but my company. So I thought, if there's a standard and I'm elevating the profession by taking it, but it also I think will help me stand apart from some other people doing it, as I have it now. And I think it'll also make my company, LogMeIn, ticker LOGM, it'll highlight and elevate our game. And so for those two reasons, and I thought, and continue to kind of support, the function, the profession, I thought it made a lot of sense. And I had a few friends who are helping create the charter, and they really encouraged me to pursue it, and I'm really glad I did.